ladies and gentlemen, Mike here, and welcome to another Minecraft Lord of the Rings tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the Custom NPCs mod, and it is probably going to be a short series, quite honestly, because there's a lot of stuff to go over. We can start out simple and get more advanced as we move forward. I've gotten quite a lot of requests to do this, and people have asked me about the techniques that I use when I'm creating Machinima or in my single player series, and it's a good time for me to show you that. So let's sort of get started. Now, I'm going to assume that you know how to install mods, including the Custom NPCs mod. The link for download is in the description below. You can check it out, download it, add it to your mods folder. There is also a config file that you will have to edit manually in the Minecraft folder itself, and I may go over that in a future video, but now I'm just going to sort of get started. Alright, so first of all, you'll probably notice that I'm in creative mode, and we're going to need that because we're going to need some tools and equipment in order to create the custom NPCs. We're going to start off simple. I'm just going to go over the actual creation and editing of those NPCs, some of the simple stuff in the first video. We'll move on from there. So let's go over here to the Custom NPC Tools tab, and you'll notice that there are quite a lot of tools here. There is a wand, a cloner, a scripter, there's a pather, there's a mounter, there's a teleporter, and there's a soul stone. In fact, there's a bunch of other stuff here. We're going to start off simple. We're going to go with the wand and the cloner for today's episode. So how do you create a custom NPC? Well, let's go down here. We got our wand, and we're going to right click on the ground in front of us. Boom! We have created an NPC. Now you'll notice that a random name has been assigned to them. Let's just click out here. You will see that their name is above their head, and the model is basically just a simple Steve model, which is not exactly what we want to go for in Middle Earth. So we're going to right click on them again. We're going to first hide their name, and let's take a look at some of this stuff. Now we can edit their model. If you click edit and you choose this little button right here that says custom NPC, you'll be taken to a list of all the models within your Minecraft installed, including custom ones, including all the modded ones. So you see all these Lord of the Rings one here. Let's go Rivendell Warrior. Boom. So we got ourselves a Rivendell Warrior. Let's go back. Now you will see there are a bunch of flags here. Quite honestly, some of them work, some of them don't. I haven't experimented a ton with them. You can experiment yourself, but I can tell you that the male does work. So you'll see that right there, she is switching from male to female. Very cool, right? So that definitely works. Some of these other ones you're going to have to experiment on your own. Let's exit out of this. You will also see that you can adjust the texture. So if we go to select, you can choose different textures, whatever happens to be in the texture folder. Right now it's high elf female. You could go up and you could change them to anything. We could change her to a jazz female, which is quite honestly not the look I was looking for. Let's go back. Let's go to high elf female again. Oh, there we go. I like her. She's on fire. Okay, let's go back. Now, a couple other things I'll show you right here. Cape and overlay, I'm going to leave those alone. They don't seem to particularly work very well. Some do, some don't. Let's just leave it for now. Living animation. I will show you this a little later. What it does is you'll notice that with a lot of the NPCs, they have a sort of life animation of breathing, their arms move, and they look like, even when they're standing still, they look like they're alive. You can turn that off, but it doesn't seem to work generally with Lord of the Rings NPCs. It does work with the player character. If you want to change the model to the player character, it seems to work, but I haven't had much success getting this to work with the actual NPCs. Visible. Look at the legs below here. If I change that to off, she becomes invisible. Well, basically anyway. You could change it to partially invisible and you can actually see her kind of like a ghost. I don't know why you want to use this, but if you're creating a ghost for Machinima, maybe it could be useful. Alright, the boss bar, if you turn that on, see right here, it shows a little health bar above them, and it's basically just like what it says, a boss bar. If you want to create an NPC that is a boss and you want a player to be able to fight them in certain situations, this might be useful. You can also have it just show when attacking. Alright, so let's just take a look. We got ourselves a beautiful looking Rivendell elf. I like it. Alright, so let's do this again. We'll hit edit. Let's go over to inventory here because I think she needs some armor and some weapons. So we're gonna armor her up. We're also gonna weapon her up. Boom, she's got both. Now, let's go back for a second here and take a look at her. Wow, looking very nice. I like it. All right, so we have ourselves an NPC, but right now she's not doing a whole lot. So we want to be able to maybe edit her movement. Let's sort of give you an example here. Imagine we're creating a guard, and imagine the guard is just stationary. The problem is that she's always sort of rotating around and moving around, and it may not be something that you want to see if you want a guard at a gate or something like that. You want them standing at attention. So we can go over to AI. And there's a ton of stuff here. Let's skip all this for now. We're going to go down to movement. And we notice that she is standing. Her animation is normal. Now, rotation. We can choose manual. And what that will do is that will make her, there, stand at a certain angle, whatever angle you choose. So right now it is at 0, but if I wanted it to be at, say, 90, I could do that and she would stand at 90 degrees. This is great for an NPC that you want to remain stationary, that's guarding something, or maybe a vendor that you don't want moving around a lot, anything like that. Very useful. You can also create certain static scenes if you want them having a conversation, you want to film something like that, and you want them talking to each other, but you don't want them just wandering around or looking away from the person that they're interacting with. So that is something that you could do if you want to make Machinima. Let's keep moving here. So let's go back into movement. And we'll take a look at some of these other animations. You could have her sitting. Look at that, she's sitting on the ground. You could have her sitting on a chair or a bench or anything like that. And actually the NPC mod does have some built-in benches and chairs and sofas and stuff like that. Some of them work with Middle-earth, or some of them, you know, fit in with Middle-earth and some don't. But I'll show you those later. So yeah, sitting, you could have her sitting. You could have her lying down. She could be lying down. So this could be useful if someone's sleeping or if they're on a battlefield and they're injured, stuff like that. But you will notice something here. See that little moving animation? That's the living animation we were talking about. It can be a little bit of a bummer sometimes if you want someone to lie there dead or something. But, you know, it's definitely possible. You could edit the model to the player character and then do something like that. What are you doing? Leave me alone. Busy right now. We got sneaking. She is sneaking. Now you notice it looks a little weird. You can see her sneaking like her butt's out, but the armor from the front looks exactly the same. So I don't know, it looks a little weird to me, but whatever. It sort of works. It works from the back. Let's put it that way. All right, we got dancing. I haven't tried half of these. She is definitely not dancing. Aiming. Now you can see that she's sort of in the aiming position. Now let me show you something here. If you take this off and can I give it to her like this? See, she is now in the aiming position. Unfortunately, the bowstring is going through her head. But if you want someone who's ready to attack, you know, a situation like that, it does look pretty cool. It looks like she's getting ready. And yeah, aiming definitely works. We got crawling. She could be crawling. Oh, she's down. She's down. It is something, again, that could be useful if you want someone who's hurt, or if you want, I don't know if you guys watch my single player series, but if you ever see me, you know, in some scenes where I'm drunk or something, or I'm passed out, this is what I use. And it is quite effective. It does look pretty good. What does hugging do? Hugging does nothing. She doesn't want to hug me, apparently. Typical elf. Normal. We're back to normal. All right, well, she is back to normal. Let's show you a couple other things with the AI here. So movement, we can also have her wandering, and we can give her a range. This is basically like the normal Minecraft Lord of the Rings guard mode, where they'll wander around within a certain radius. You can also set their walk speed. You can set if they stop when they're interacting with someone or interacting with NPCs on their own. I tend to generally turn those off because if I'm shooting a scene, I don't want random NPCs to be walking around or wandering in the way. But you can see now she's sort of wandering around doing her thing, and you can set that range. But again, this mode is very useful for if you're creating a custom NPC where, okay, she's gone. If you're creating a custom NPC that is, you know, you want to link them to a certain area, like a house or something like that, you don't want them wandering all over the place. Yeah, definitely cool, right? Let's check out the stats tab real quick. Now you can edit their health. You can edit the aggro range, which is the range at which they will attack or defend themselves. The creature type, I don't actually know what this does. You can change them to undead or an arthropod. I don't know if this has any effect on the Lord of the Rings NPCs, but you can, you know, play around and let me know. You can edit respawn. This is whether the NPC will respawn when they're killed. It defaults to yes. I generally turn it off, but you can set it to day or night. You can also set the amount of time it takes for them to respawn. You can hide the dead body. Normally, if you kill an NPC or at least a custom NPC, their dead body will turn red and they will lie on the ground until they respawn. You can actually turn them to a natural despawn, which means they will despawn by themselves. Again, you can play around with these settings. I'm not going to go into detail about them, but they're pretty self-explanatory for the most part. Melee options, this is again just their strength and range and speed. There's a ton of stuff here. You mostly want to go over this stuff by yourself. What kind of projectiles they have, the power and gravity, and Man, there's a ton of stuff. Some of them work better than others, but mostly for machinima stuff, you really don't want to get into all of this. You can make them immune to fire, or they burn in the sun, potion immune, all these things, tons and tons of different things. The AI tab is, well, it can be fairly complex. I did go over the movement generally. Let's leave most of this stuff alone for now. We'll get into it in a later video. Inventory, again, we went over this generally. You can set these things right here, and this is basically what the NPCs will drop when they're killed and the chance that they will have of dropping it. So if I set this to 50%, when I kill this NPC, it will have a 50% chance of dropping this Rivendell sword. So you can set the drops if you want to, and I did that in my single player series as well. And it is very useful if you want to set up a certain battle scene or stuff like that, or you want to set up very specific items to be dropped as you're role-playing something. So yeah, again, useful stuff. Advanced. Let's not get into this. We're definitely getting into this in a later episode. You can set certain factions, you can set lines, things they say, but let me show you something here. If I right-click on her, she's gonna say, "Hello, Mind of Mike," and that is not like the normal NPCs in the world. If you click on a normal NPC, they're gonna do this, the immersive text. So this is something sort of specific to the Custom NPCs mod. It doesn't really fit in with the world of Middle-earth. Fortunately, you can disable it in the config file. So if you go into your Minecraft folder and you edit the config file, you can disable this. Not going to get into it this video, but you should be able to do it on your own if you know what you're doing. I'll maybe do it next video. I want to show you one other thing though, because I have not gotten into the mob cloner tool. So you can right click on an NPC and you can choose save. Now what's going to happen here is if I click on the ground, I will get a list here, and you will see the NPC that I saved, and I can spawn another one. So if you've worked quite a bit on creating a custom NPC, or you want to clone a lot of them, you want to have guards or something like that, you can do that, and it's very useful. Another very useful tip is that you can use this on the vanilla Minecraft Lord of the Rings NPC. So I can actually save her as well, and when I clone her, watch this, she will be an actual NPC. She won't be a custom NPC. So if you see an NPC out in the world that you really like, or you have a follower that you want to be able to clone, you can do that, and it is super useful, and they will respond and behave exactly like a Lord of the Rings NPC rather than a custom NPC. Good news, right? There are a couple other things with this mob cloner tool. Let me show you. You can also clone entities. So if you want to clone just sort of a Gondorian blacksmith, boom, we can spawn one. Doesn't really matter. Look at that. That is an actual Minecraft Lord of the Rings NPC. It is not a custom NPC, so you can't actually edit them the same way. You see that? I can't edit. See, this is what I was talking about. See the interact on other NPCs? That's what's going to happen. They may try and interact with each other, and another reason why it's a good idea to disable that conversation thing. Alright, one other thing that I should mention is that you can't delete these guys. That is a problem. Once you've created this, because he is a Minecraft Lord of the Rings NPC, he is not associated with the Custom NPCs mod at all. Once you created him, he's there. You can't do nothing. You can attack him, but you can't actually delete him via the Custom NPC tool. So yeah, you pretty much just gotta go with the flow at this point. But these ones you can. So I can right click on her, I can delete her, no big deal. Again, the ones that you spawn into the world that aren't custom NPCs, that aren't actually created by this wand tool, can't delete them. Just gotta go with the flow. Alright, well, I think we're done for today. We're gonna leave it off, but I hope you learned a little bit more about custom NPCs, and I hope you're excited about what's coming up, because there is a lot of stuff that can be done with this mod. When we come back next time, we're going to be doing a little bit of pathing, and we're going to be learning more how to adjust their behaviors and give them some very specific behaviors to make your world and your builds a lot more realistic. In the meantime, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more if you haven't already. Take care, guys, and have yourselves a great day.